Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have swatches for you from the Zoya Intriguing Collection for Holiday 2020. These are available right now, so in the description box below I will link the Zoya site, I will link their Instagram page, and I'll link my Instagram page. You can see more swatches of everything from this collection. We do have a total of 12 new shades to look at today, and let's go ahead and get started. So first we have Soko, and this is a bright fire truck red cream. So here's our first coat of Soko. This one is super pigmented here on this first coat. I am going to go in for 2 today, but I personally would call this a complete one coater. I had no running, pooling, or staining on this one. I would recommend a top coat just to keep it lasting and to give it that nice plump finished look. And there is 2 coats. Next up we have Koley, and this is a deeper red with a strong pink shimmer. Here's our first coat of Koley. This one's a little bit more sheer on this first coat than the last one, but it does have a nice, smooth, easy to work with formula. Again, richly pigmented here. The shimmer stands out really nicely. So here's our second coat, and this does cover completely in 2. I also didn't have any staining with this, but I would still recommend using a base coat just to be on the safe side. So there is 2 coats. Up next we have Eunice, and this is kind of a like chartreusey baby poopy color, and it's got a golden flash. Here's our first coat of Eunice. This one, for being what it is, covers really well here on this first coat. Obviously, it's not completely opaque, so I am going to go in for a second coat. Again, a smooth, easy to work with formula. No staining on anything from today, but I will say I don't keep these on for a long time, so I would recommend using a base coat either way. So there is 2 coats. Up next we have Regina, and this is a forest green shimmer. Here's our first coat of Regina. This one is definitely more on the sheer side. I did 3 coats to build this one up to opacity. You may be able to get away with 2, but I do think it looks nice and deep on 3. Formula is again good. The green flash that's in here is stunning. Very smooth, easy formula to work with. I do think I would have preferred to have the Z wide brushes for these ones, but I will get around to replacing all of my Zoya brushes at some point. Again, I would recommend top coat. Everything here does dry decently glossy, but it does give it a nice finished look. So there's 2 coats. Up next we have Isti, and this is a kind of cobalt blue base with blue and silver glitter, and this is their pixie dust formula, so this one dries matte and it does dry textured. Here is Isti, and just as I got done saying everything dries nice and glossy, we come to this one. This is a pixie dust polish, so it does dry matte and it does dry textured. If you don't love that, you might want a couple coats of top coat to smooth everything over, but I am personally a fan of the pixie dust formulas. They are a little bit more thick than any other cream or shimmer that they release, but they are very easy to work with. Oh, and this is going to dry super textured and be super difficult to remove. So there is 3 coats. Up next we have Brett, and this is a dusty cornflower blue cream. Here is our first coat of Brett. This one is pretty opaque but a little bit patchy, so it does need a second coat. Again, this is a problem that I feel could be handled by the Z-Wide brush. This is somewhere in between a blue and a purple. I think depending on your lighting, maybe your skin tone will determine which way it leans. Mine leans more blue. So there's 2 coats. Up next we have Merredith, and this is a midnight royal blue with this silver fleck. Here's our first coat of Merredith. This one is super beautiful, very night sky-ish. A little bit sheer and patchy here on this first coat. I was having some trouble like determining how much polish I needed on my brush for some reason. So they all applied a little bit more patchy than I typically apply. This one is opaque for me in 3 coats. I'd recommend top coat just to keep everything lasting and smooth everything out, and removal will be a little bit difficult but not bad. So there's 3 coats. Up next we have Nisha, and this is a royal purple with a bluey purple shimmer. Here is Nisha. This is another one that I don't know what determines it, but sometimes it looks blue and sometimes it looks purple, but it's not a multi-chrome. So in this lighting for me, it was definitely leaning more purpley, but in like my photo lighting, I got more blue, and then in just like indoor lighting, I got more blue as well. I accidentally went in a little bit thick here, but I would still call this a 2-coater. I did wipe some of my polish off to try to thin that coat out some, but all of my other nails were nice and thin, and I still got opacity in 2, so there is 2 coats. Up next we have Avi, and this is a dusty purple cream. Here is Avi. So this is this kind of like dusty purpley beautiful fall-esque color. Formula is very smooth and easy to work with. Again, no running, pulling, or staining. Generally, Zoya has nice opaque, easy creams to work with, but for some reason I was just really missing the Z-wide brush for these. This is going to dry a little bit darker than when it's wet, so just bear that in mind, and it will be glossy, so there's 2 coats. Next up we have Beverly, and this is a berry pink cream. Here is Beverly. This is another color that Zoya does really well and really often. These nice berry toned colors. Again, a little bit thin in my first coat, so it did go a little bit patchy, but again, a very smooth, easy formula to work with. Everything here is nice and self-leveling, so even though I was applying a little oddly for me, everything worked out fine. But there is 2 coats. Next up we have Lottie, and this is kind of a white gold champagne-y shimmer. Here is Lottie. This one is a little bit more sheer than what we've looked at so far. It could, in theory, double as a topper if that's something you're interested in. I like it built up in 3 coats. It reminds me of a nice, beautiful, wintry morning with snow and a little bit reflective. I think it's stunning. Good, easy to work with formula. I'd recommend top coat because it does dry on the dull side, but nothing is going to dry textured or be difficult to remove. So there is 3 coats. And lastly for today we have Nico, and this is a yellow gold shimmer. And here is Nico. This one is also a little bit more on the sheer side, but a perfect winter holiday color. Very smooth formula to work with. I got this one opaque in 3 coats. If you went in a little bit thicker, I was, trying to balance out the fact that some of these I had globbed polish on. I was trying to balance that out and went in super thin. I think you could easily get this one opaque in 2. I would again recommend top coat to prevent any kind of chipping and keep your manicure lasting, but nothing dries textured or is difficult to remove, so there is 3 coats. I had 2 standouts, the first one being Eunice. This ugly kind of baby poop, kind of pukey, kind of like who thought to put that in a nail polish collection kind of color is my jam, always has been. I think this is beautiful. The shimmer that's in here is stunning. Such a perfect Halloween color, and I've got a couple more weeks to wear this for Halloween, and I'm super duper excited about that. So Eunice is definitely one of my favorites, and then the other one was Regina, of course. I'm a sucker for greens just in general, but this one straight up says Slytherin to me. I think it's a beautiful kind of Harry Potter color, and that always makes me really excited. So Eunice and Regina are my favorites from this collection. One thing I did want to note is I had some kind of trouble with applying. I never have had an issue with Zoya's thin brushes. They've really never given me trouble. And then with the last collection, they sent the Z-wide brushes, which I was kind of skeptical on because they're pretty wide and I was pretty familiar with Zoya's formula. And I fell in love with them. I got so used to them that I feel like going back to the thin brushes made it a little bit more difficult for me. I'm sure you noticed on like my actual swatching, my filming of the swatches, that I was having trouble with how much polish I needed on the brushes, or getting all the way around to an even application to the sides of my nails as well. So I would really like to see Zoya give the option of a Z-wide brush or a thin brush, because I do remember really enjoying the thin brushes, and I know I'm not the only one who did. But now, for some reason, my mind's switched off of that, and now I want the Z-wide brushes. So it would be nice to have Zoya acknowledge that other people might not want to pay for an extra brush, instead of creating the trash that would come with this brush, having to replace it, to just give the option at checkout. That's all, and now I'm rambling. And guys, that is it. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of these polishes. Let me know if you plan on picking any of them up, or if you already have, and let me know what your favorite was. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe if you'd like to see more from me, and I will talk to you again next time.